everyone, welcome back to Reissued. If you're new here, my name is Andrew. We are making progress on the bathroom. A little over a month ago, I posted a video where I shared some of the demo process and talked about my plans for this room, changes to the layout, colors, design elements, etc. If you haven't watched that video yet, pause this video, go check that one out now. I think that might be helpful to kind of give you some context for what we're going to be doing in this video. Getting started on the bathroom has taken a while, not only because there are a lot of sort of foundational construction elements to address, but also because I'm wanting to kind of source and thrift as many elements as possible. And as we know, that takes time. There's also been tons of little decisions to make, and that takes time too. So in this video, I'm gonna catch you up on the progress so far, including some general construction, some custom storage from thrifted cabinets, a little paint color reveal, and then a major DIY transformation of the unfortunate existing Boob light ceiling fan in the space, including a little IKEA hack magic. You're gonna have to see this one to believe it. I can't wait to show you. Let's jump on it. First, we need to start from the ground up by getting a solid floor in this space. Now, I believe this bathroom was originally part of the back porch on the house, so the way that it's framed out is not really as supportive as it needs to be. In addition, there was a lot of shower leakage in this room, and so there's a lot of soft spots in the floor here, so we gotta get this all out of here and replace it with a solid floor. So we removed the old subfloor entirely and added some new 2x8s and 2x6s to the floor. This was both to add more support and structure to the floor, but also to level out the floor. I'll go ahead and say right here at the beginning that a lot of things in this video might look a little bit wonky because the ceiling in this room is actually quite crooked. We're not gonna be doing anything to address that, but we needed the floor to be level, the cabinets to be level, everything like that. So hopefully, I think when everything goes in, it's gonna look okay, but there's definitely some moments where things look really off. With the new floor joists in, we could put in a full new OSB floor, and now we have a solid level floor. Excellent. After a little thrifted insulation in the walls, we're ready to put up drywall. Even though we're going to install beadboard on the lower part of the walls later, we need to fill in with some drywall in order to make everything the same thickness. That way when the tile goes on the top and the beadboard goes on the bottom, they'll come out to roughly the same depth. But since this is going to be entirely covered with other materials, we're not worried about making this too perfect. Back to the floor. I went in with Red Guard sealant to waterproof the subfloor. This stuff is very goopy and fumey, and so I made sure to wear a mask when applying and to leave the house right after to let it dry. Once that's all dry, we finished up with the drywall and then moved on to cement board. This is going to give a thin concrete surface for the tile to adhere to eventually, and gives us a more even, solid base. This is a process that we've done several times now in the kitchen and the guest bathroom, so it was fun to return to a project that we actually know how to do. So many of the projects in my house have been these one-off things that we're figuring out as we go along, and we do it one time and we never do it again. So it's hard for me sometimes to feel like I'm accumulating any skills and knowledge, or feel like I know what I'm doing. But since my parents and I have done this several times now, we were able to work very efficiently with cutting the pieces, laying down the mortar, screwing them down, and patching the seams with mesh tape and more mortar. Now that the floor is in place, we moved a lot of the elements into the space to finalize layout and placement for plumbing and electrical elements, drains, plugs, light fixtures. We can leave some room for flexibility on some of these elements, but it's important to get a lot of the electrical and plumbing elements in place before we put the drywall down and put the beadboard up permanently. While we work on that, let's turn our attention to the light fixture in this room. Ah, the dreaded boob light. Now, if this was a space other than a bathroom, or if this was an ordinary boob light, I would just go ahead and replace this with any number of flush mount fixtures. However, this light fixture doubles as a bathroom fan. The fan element is actually up in the ceiling, and the air gets sucked in through those holes around the ring on the outside. So, however unfortunate this fixture looks right now, this is actually pretty unique in the way that it's combining the fan and the light elements. I definitely need a bathroom fan for ventilation in this room, but so many bathroom fans are just very ordinary looking. I'm totally fine with that in my guest bathroom since it's a flat painted off-white ceiling and the ceiling fan just kind of blends in. But in this space, the wood ceiling is such a beautiful accent in this space, and so it seems like a waste to draw your eyes up to the ceiling and then have them land on a really basic ceiling fan, right? So believe it or not, we're gonna work with the existing fixture, but of course we're gonna totally customize it. So I wanted to make this process super easy and foolproof so that anybody can do it. It didn't end up as simple and foolproof as I wanted, but I'll let you decide if you could make some version of this work for you. We removed the light fixture to see what we're working with. Basically the bottom finial screwed off and the light part unplugged from the fan part. The big idea here is that we're gonna remove the existing double light bulbs and rewire this to attach this West Elm pendant fixture that's been hanging around my house for literally 4 years since I had it in my apartment in New York. I think this process could work with pretty much any pendant fixture, so something thrifted or cheaper could work too. I'm just working with what I had on hand here. We cut the wire to take the pieces of the fixture apart and prepare it for rewiring. Now for a little IKEA hack. So we needed a metal plate to attach here and cover up a lot of the holes, so I did a quick Google search for metal plates, and it turns out that IKEA has a new line of stainless steel plates as a part of a grill series. And so I took some good measurements and then picked up this set of 2 grill titer plates from IKEA for $8 for the set. These do come in different sizes, so depending on the size of the fixture that you're working with, just take some measurements and see what size would work best for you. First, my dad drills a hole in the center of the plate with a small drill bit for accuracy, and then with the larger drill bit to fit our wire. Next, he cuts down a 2x4 into 1-inch strips that will act as spacers for super strong magnets that we ordered on Amazon. You could also use some 1-inch decking board for this if you have that on hand. I screw the magnets to the 1-inch strips, and then screw the strips into the existing holes on the original light plate. This will allow the IKEA plate to strongly adhere to the light plate without being permanently affixed or showing screw holes.
Here, I'll just, I got it.
After my dad cuts down the original metal pipe from the base of the pendant fixture, since we want the fixture to sit a bit higher, all the pieces are ready for paint. I'm using an oil red bronze finish that reads almost black. The old can I had on hand was spraying super big drops, and the new can was dripping all over my hand, but we got it done one way or another. Now we're ready for assembly and installation. We thread all the pendant pieces onto our wire, followed by the IKEA plate. Our pendant came with a set screw to hold the wire tight, but knotting the wire here could work as well. We just want to hold our little light pole in place as tightly as possible against the plate. Then we feed the wire through the main plate of the light, adding a little plastic hanging thing that will keep the wire from slipping through. Again, a knot would work fine here too. Finally, we cut the cording to expose the wires so that we can wire the pendant light to the old plug that plugs into the ceiling fan. White wires together, black wires together, and the green grounding wire can just hang out in this case. Let's plug this baby into the fan and screw it in place. Having the extra wire in between the 2 plates will give us enough space to screw the main plate into the wood ceiling. Now we can shove the extra wire up inside and snap the IKEA plate into place. Seamless. Let's attach the glass globe, screw in a light bulb, and check out the finished look. Now back to construction. Now that the wiring and plumbing is set in the new placement, we can start adding in beadboard. We cut the 4x8 plywood beadboard sheets to length and then to width. Then we line them up along the level line that we drew around the room and nail them to the studs with a nail gun. I had originally planned to cut the 8-foot sheets in half to 4 feet and use a combination of molding at the top and baseboard at the bottom to get this up to 5 feet. However, as I was looking at everything in the room, I really felt like a 6-foot beadboard line was going to feel more proportionate in this space and make things a little bit more enclosed, and also lessen the amount of tile work we would need to do in this space. So we ended up using about twice as much beadboard in this case, so double the cost. I think it was worth it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now, one of the additions that I didn't touch on in the planning video at all are these 2 storage cabinets that I want to do on either side of the tub. I don't want the tub to feel too closed in, but we do have some extra space here and I absolutely could use the extra storage. The one on the left is going to be a pull-out unit, similar to the one in my guest bathroom, but much taller since it can go all the way down to the baseboard here. We'll get to this piece in another video, but for now my dad can build a 2x4 structure that the sliding piece will come out of. This piece will match the 6-foot height of the beadboard, so once it's wrapped in beadboard and painted, it should just blend into the walls and integrate seamlessly. The storage on the right will be open shelving that will house products that I need access to in the shower. For this side, I sourced a 30-inch upper cabinet at the REISSUED for $45. We're going to be making some significant changes to the cabinet, but it'll give us a good starting point. After deciding on the placement of the cabinet, my dad built another 2x4 structure to act as a base. This is going to be dead space, but it will raise the cabinet up to the right height so that it can be accessible from the tub and will match the height of the beadboard and the left cabinet. The 2 sides should end up being pretty much symmetrical. I would have kept this cabinet mostly as is, except that I wanted to use these slatted shelves that I'd purchased at the REISSUED for $4 each, I think. I had considered using these slatted shelves for the bedroom built-in, and I actually ended up using the larger one that I had for the shelf in the lower cabinet. I think the slats and the natural wood tone will add a spa-like feeling to the bathroom, and will also add a little bit of dimension to the shelving unit since the rest of it is going to be painted out in the same color. But the shelves are too deep to fit in the existing cabinet, so we gotta work with that. So we took the back off the cabinet and cut down some of the off-cut pieces of beadboard that we can use to line the shelves and add more depth. We have a couple extra seams since the shelves will be permanently affixed, and we wanted to make the most of the scraps we had on hand. We glue these into place with construction adhesive and clamps. We also cut the back piece to create a new back for the cabinet. Making the shelves permanent was also a strategic choice to be able to affix the new back to the cabinet. So before we add the shelves, I opted to prime and paint the inside since we're not painting the shelves. Having the beadboard inside the cabinet and painted in a semi-gloss finish will make this cabinet much more water-friendly than the original particle board was. Plus, we're going to add the final remaining piece of solid surface counter that I have on hand as a lower shelf here. And why not go ahead and prime as much of the beadboard on the walls as we can? Alright, who's ready for a paint color reveal? It's always really exciting to open up a new paint shade here on my channel. We have painted a lot of rooms in my house in off-white, which I stand by. I think that's a really great way to unify a space, but that makes it even more exciting to open up a new shade. This shade is called Cut Cedar from Magnolia. I wanted something in this space that was like almost brown, but in the comments on the planning video, some people were like, don't put brown in a bathroom. You know, it's not necessarily the best association. So I went with this shade because it had some of the depth and warmth of brown, but it's a little bit more grayed out, more desaturated, a little bit cooler overall. I think it'll work really nicely with the warm wood tones going into this space, and I think it will offer a nice mid-tone in between the strong white elements and the crisp black accents. Finish the cabinet assembly by screwing the shelves in from the sides and screwing the base in the cabinet into place. We'll finish up wrapping this piece in beadboard in the next bathroom video. Alright, so it's not quite time for a full before and after, but this is how the space is looking right now. There's still a long way to go, but we're well on our way. If you want to catch the next installment where we finish the beadboard, paint the walls, and add more hidden storage, be sure that you're subscribed. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon.